as we have tested in both the ways, like manually and getting the data through the Excel sheet, now we'll try to add ITestListener to our test cases. Now, if you have learned TestNG, I think you're familiar with this ITestListener. What is this ITestListener? So ITestListener is an interface that's usually used to change the behavior of output. So in this ITestListener class interface, basically ITestListener is an interface. In this, we have some around 8 methods. And all of these methods are, if it's an interface, obviously all of these methods are present there from by default. And what we have to do is we have to use all of these methods. Now, if you see the name of these methods are like on test starts, on test success, on test failure. Again, there is on test failed, but with success percentage, on failed with timeout, on start, on finish. So basically, we know every scenario of a test case, and accordingly, I have written the steps here, whichever required, so that we can identify that what's happening along through the complete process. Now, one thing what I've added here is how to add a report, basically the HTML report, how we can add that here and generate the report of my complete test case. So this is the report section. Now, these all comes inside TestNG. Now, I'm straight away using this thing in my code, and I'll go through that sections and I'll try to explain each and every part where I'm doing reports, where I'm getting the screenshots, all of them. So I'll just do that. So let's create one class here. So inside utility, again, this is used for defining the behavior of my test case. So obviously the class that I'll create inside the utility of this project. So here I'll create ITestListener class. And as ITestListener is an interface, so what we will do after this, I'll write implements and I'll name the interface ITestListener. Done. Now just import this ITestListener interface and add all the methods inside it. Now the first method that you see, configure report, this is the method created by, this is the method that I have created just to configure the report, and I want that this method should go along with all the methods. So that's why I put it inside the ITestListener class. And also it's like if I use this method, that means this method basically will generate me report every time. Now I'll come to this report section. First, let me import these parts where it's like talking about ITest results. Now all are related to mostly reports. So I'll just define these sections as well. Now, if you're familiar with the report thing, then you know that this extend Spark report is used for just generating the report at some particular location. Extend reports, if you talk about, this is basically the part that helps to generate report. And just if you want to attach all of the reports or records, then we use extend test. So basically, this is the part of TestNG. So I hope you are familiar with these things. Now, first, let me import each and every sections, and then I'll talk about, then I'll go through each one by one, and I'll help you out to know what exactly we are doing here. So it's just, if you talk about in simple word, it's just a section where basically this is just a code that we usually use every time when we build a report, or basically when we deal with the output sections. So the codes usually stays the similar, just you need to know how to use them and nothing else. I think an extra bracket is here. Fine, all is good now. So let me come through each section one by one. The first one is configure report. So in this, I'm using HTML reporter. So basically the reporter, basically this will generate me the this report in HTML format. Now, just to generate this report, I need these extend reports and this attached report. So basically attached report, this will give me the information of reports. If you see reports.systeminfo, giving me the info of system. Again, here I'm trying to configure the title of my test. Again, I'm trying to configure the report name. And again, what type of color the theme will be. So that's here. Now, once these all are configured, now try to understand all the details. Like if a test pass, that details you will try to attach to your report. And if a test fail, you will want that particular thing is added to your report. So basically, if you have put the report section inside this class, so you want that all the details should go to that particular report. And this reports is the one that basically is used for attaching the details. That's why I've defined it outside the method. So now if a test is success, then what I'm doing a small thing that while extending these, like where I've used extend test. So just to extend my report, what I'm doing, I'm using reports.createTest. So basically, if you have done the report section, you will be familiar with this. This is how we create our report. I try to get the name of the particular method. And once the name is generated, then what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to pass the status because this is success part. So obviously the status will be success. And again, if you create labels, like if you're trying to create labels, then there you will get the name of this test case as well as name of the method. And if it's a pass state, it will be green. So just understand the scenario. Every time the test case pass, it comes here, it just read here, and the details are passed to our reporter. And every time the pass will come in form of green. Similarly, in case of fail, same thing will happen. Just here, I have added one more thing, that is screenshot. Now, rest these lines are similar. If you read these lines, you'll find it similar. It's nothing different. Just we are trying to create a structure of this report. The second one, string screenshot system.set property. Basically, I'm giving the location where I'm trying to put my screenshot. And then by creating an object of file, I see whether a screenshot exists or not. So if the screenshot exists, then in that case, I will not generate another screenshot. And if it's not exist, then in that case, I'll generate a screenshot. So basically the location is here and we are using this file screenshot. Basically we are creating a file. We are using the file where we are putting the screenshot. Now on TestScape, again, the same scenario. So basically if you watch the codes here, it's similar. You know to write code in one case, then you will write the same thing in the next one. Just what you have to change is the status and the color of the test. Again, that's when it's skipped, it's yellow. And the rest cases, I think we don't need anything to add there. So on start, just I'm putting a message. On test start. In finish, I'm just giving a message on finish. So 3 conditions are important for us right now. And in any cases, so basically I'm generating report for those 3 sections. Now, one more thing that we will add here is every time when we generate, now this listener class is here. So every time when we run a test case, we go to that particular class and run that test case. Now, just to run the test case along with listener, what we have to do, we have to create a XML file. So go to this TestNG, go to convert to TestNG and create an XML file. Now, the reason behind why I'm creating an XML file is I want to run the test along with listeners. So those things you have done in listener, if you have gone through TestNG, hope you have tried these things there. Now here you have to just change the name of XML if needed. Just for the very first time you are creating, then you can keep the name as same. That's not a problem. So you see in bottom, XML file is created with this name testng.xml. And here you see I've just passed this login test driven data class. So this is already passed. Now what I'll do, just I'll add the listener line. So just after shoot, I'll add first listeners tag. Now once this is added, then I'll define the listener class name. Listener class name is equals to, I need to take the package name as well as the class name. So this is my package. I copy the package from here, put it here, dot. Now let me take the class name. So this is the class name. Let's copy the class name and paste it here. Rest, done. So basically here, why we are using this XML, just to keep both on same page, the listener thing as well as the class, the test case which we are trying to perform. So this is the standard way of running a test case. Instead of going to that particular class and executing that class, it's better, why don't we do in this way? So I do right click here. Now I go to run as, and I do TestNG suite. So now this time, what will happen? You will generate test reports, but along with listeners. So you see the first thing on start method in board. So at the time when the test cases start, you had that message on test started. Now the complete test case will run and the messages will be generated accordingly. And because both are on same page, so that will generate you the listener details. Now this was always a question when everyone was learning listeners, how we'll use in real-time project. So I think this doubt is clear from here that we'll use in real-time project this way. It's like based on our requirement, we will design our own scenarios. We will go and write the codes in those sections and accordingly it will execute. Now you see name of the test method successfully executed is verify login. So this was one that successfully executed. Now still waiting for the failed state to run, still to generate report. So it's still in that stage where the failed state will close. Both the cases are executed. Now I'm waiting for this to close. Now it's closed. So name of the test failed. That's also mentioned because the second time verify login failed. So you know about it. Now, if you now just to check that this report is generated or not, or just if you want to check this thing that this extend report, listener report demo.html, is this format generated or not? What you have to do after the code is executed, after the report is generated, what you have to do here is go to your project, right click, and refresh your project. So when you do this, you find extend report.html here. Now, if you watch this report, it looks like the report we generate. So you see the green signal for the pass state, red for the failed, and again, name of the skip test is basically I've given the wrong statement. So just you have to give the right statement. Basically, it's a pass. I've given the wrong statement there. So that the same statement is printed. But you see, this is my first report. Everything is printed over here. So that's how the report looks like, and you are familiar with it. So that's because I've added it to the ITestListener. That's why that's generated. So now this is how the complete scenario is working in case of ITestListener. So this is how you can add listener to your project and just keep generating test reports at regular interval. Now, we'll try to generate this report. Basically, we'll try to generate the screenshot of our test case in next section. So that we'll generate it, we'll run the test case and we'll try to generate the screenshot for the fail condition. We'll see that in next section. So basically, when a test case fails, it's better to get a screenshot. So from there, you can easily visualize that at which section the test case failed. So just to generate this screenshot, you have to do nothing. It's just write 3 lines of screenshot code and it's done. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this capture screenshot. I'm going to create a capture screenshot method, and this method I'm going to put in base class. So this is my base test class. So in this base test class, I'm going to put my capture screenshot code. So that's here. So this is the capture screenshot code. And if you talk about this screenshot code, it's like just these 3 lines of code. And just you write these 3 lines of code and screenshot thing is working. Basically, you have one more line that is where you copy the file. So altogether 4 lines of code. You can easily get the screenshot. So basically we use that take screenshot class and just we convert the driver to screenshot. And once that's done, just we output the file basically, and then just we put the location of the file where you want to put the screenshot. Now this thing is placed in base test because every time, like when you want to generate a screenshot or you want that the screenshot should generate on its own, then in that case, usually you will generate this thing from the test where you are doing the test. So basically here, it's like there is one scenario where basically you are passing the username and password. And if the username and password is matched, that means test case passed. If it's not matching, that means the test case failed. So just I'll go to this login test section. And in this, just you see the screenshot code is written over there. So in this login test, you see, just write a if else condition. And what this if else condition will do, in this if else condition, right now, just put it here below. So I'm taking the username. In fact, I'll take the user email. Basically, this one was where I took it from the login test. I should take it from the one where we are doing data driven test. Yeah, this one. So here I have written the if else condition, and what this if else condition is doing, it's just trying to compare the username and password. If both match, then in that case, the assert condition, I'll put the assert condition. That means assert true. That means that particular test case passed. And in this case, just to handle, just I'll add IO exception. And if it fails, that means it's false. So if it fails, then in that case, straight away this capture screenshot method is called. And here it comes, it performs the task, it generates you I have a folder already, a screenshot here. So it put the image over there and the screenshot is generated. It's so simple. And one thing that you have to keep in mind here is that if the test case pass, then this logout thing will be applied. If the test case failed, then there is no need of logout. So I'll not put the logout there. That's the scenario. Now it's very simple. Again, go to testng.xml, right click, run as, and run this testng suite. So basically the screenshot looks very simple. It's just you need to know a few lines of code and just you can generate screenshot for a failed test case. And that logout part is very important. Don't forget to put the logout in if condition. So if you miss that, maybe you will not generate screenshot. So the logout that was outside the if condition, that should come inside the if condition here. Now let this condition fail. Let's wait. It's failed. Let's wait for this to close. It will take some time. And once it's done, then we will check whether we get the screenshot image or not. So let's wait for this. Now you see it's failed. As usual, I'll get back to my project, right click here, I'll do refresh, and let's see what happened. So let me see what's happened here after the refresh. It seems like screenshot folder, there is no changes. Let me refresh it again. Let me see where it went wrong. Now here was a small mistake, like here I just wrote user email equals email. So I'll just change it to demo12. It's like I have to give the real value. If that matches, then it's fine. If not, then in that case, it will go to the negative section. That was a small mistake here. I have to pass the value manually. But what I did, it's like I passed it from here. But because I'm doing here as data-driven testing, so obviously every time the value that user email will come, that will match, and then it will not go to the else condition. So that was the mistake here. So this is a small mistake. Just what you have to do in the if condition, you have to pass the value manually so that every time the value that comes through from the sheet or from the Excel sheet, that should match and just go accordingly the if else condition. So now let's run this case and see this time do we generate the screenshot or not. So now it shows like again the method started and everything was success and it's working fine. As usual, I'll wait for this to close and accordingly I'll get my output. So I'm more focused on the console window where I'll get the details of the test happening. So first test passed. Let's check about the second one. Basically, It's giving the message. Yes. Now let's go and check whether the screenshot is generated or not. So I'll refresh this, and you see in this screenshot folder, you have got verified login.png. So basically, this is the section you remember where this thing was like where the test case failed. So you have the screenshot of that section, and in the screenshot folder, you see the screenshot is added over here. So that was the last section that you have to cover basically after doing the test case. So if you see one process is complete somewhat here, the process is complete in form of like just you have tried a test case, you have added reports to that test case, and also you are generating screenshot every time for that particular section if any errors occur. Now we'll see more about the plugins in upcoming sessions. And then bye bye.